I'm going to be sharing about how I met my husband, this guy right here, right? And hopefully sharing some information that you can kind of glean from, and hopefully that'll hopefully help you. Specifically, I'm going to share some mindset shift slash commitments I made to God that I really feel like changed the relationship game and helping me meeting him. All right, so stick around. Hey, my name is Titania Page from Purpose and Purity, and on this channel, I help women learn to live from joy and peace as they surrender their souls and sexuality to God. I like to make Bible study videos and lifestyle videos like this one, so if that's what you need, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And then if you watch and you say, oh wow, this is awesome, just hit like, why not? You're here already, do it, girl. Boy, whoever you are. So are you ready to tell the people how we met? And you better tell all the details.
Why do I have to tell it?
You gotta do it right.
Always me. Fellas.
Okay.
It's always me.
I'll start off, alright? Ladies first, right?
Sure.
So when I met Gerald, oh my gosh, it was a really bad spot in my life. I was in a really bad place. I had just served as a missionary for 2 years overseas. And I mean, it was a great experience. I learned a lot, matured a lot. But at that time, nearing the end of my first contract over there as a missionary, I experienced a big whopping helping of church leadership betrayal. Experiencing that pain and then having to move from Japan back to my mom's house because I no longer had my own apartment, all these different things because I had to get rid of them to live there. That was really hard for me. It's very challenging. And in the middle of that pain and stress, my default was really to try to go back to my old flirtatious kind of ways. I was looking at old boyfriends I dated on Facebook. So I remember praying specifically, if you don't help me right now, Lord, I'm finna mess up. I need your help for real. And so I just remember at that time the Holy Spirit comforting me and just saying, Nia, chill out. Just get to church on Sunday and wait. Be patient, okay? I'm gonna come through. Just wait till Sunday. And I did. I waited till Sunday. And I ended up finding out that the church that I was going to was walking distance from my house, which was a win for me because my mom did not have to drop me off, and I was just, oh. And then boom, here steps out this handsome guy with this other guy putting outside. I don't even know the other guy. I know who he is. Don't hate me, dude, if you ever watch this. Anyways, putting the signs out for the church, helping set up for a church. And that's when I met Gerald, and he was kind enough to show me where the sanctuary was and all those things. And I remember saying to myself as I went to the sanctuary, ooh, he is fine, but I'm here to serve the Lord. I'm here for Jesus. Keep my focus on Jesus. You take it from there. Then what happened, Gerald?
Tell Kevin you called him fine.
Oh my gosh, don't do that.
Tell him you called him fine.
Kevin was the other guy, okay? Go ahead, listen now. Just tell the story.
Anyway, so yeah, I was actually in between jobs at the time. So this was probably 2014, between late January, mid-February. Mm-hmm. It's a little cold outside.
It was February 8th or something.
Walking, and you think, she's probably not too far from the house, right? So. Anyway, she's, walking. I figured she probably got dropped off or something. I don't know. She just walks up across the lawn. And I was like, yeah, the sanctuary's this way. And she goes in. We ended up sitting next to each other, just random happenstance while we were worshiping. And then I moved to the back of the sanctuary and listened to the sermon. Nia starts coming to our want to call it a small group. We call it a neighborhood group at the time. Not really talking intentionally to each other. Eventually, we ended up hooking up on Facebook, just kind of chatting back and forth. Nia didn't have a phone at the time. No phone, no
Yeah,
car.
I had nothing. I have a phone, no car.
Yep.
I barely had my own clothes. But continue. I'm sorry.
She said she wanted me to tell the story. Just want to remind everybody that I'm supposed to be telling the story. We're talking on Facebook. One thing leads to another. I ended up having to call her through her mom's phone because, like I said, she didn't have a phone.
It was bad.
So when we talked about it, we had to talk through her mom's phone. I had to call her mom. Her mom had to give her the phone. But Nia started working. She had like 2 jobs. She was working at the mall, and she used to walk to the mall. I'm talking about like this had to be at least a 1.5 mile walk. So anyway, I got a job. Not too long after that. It was in early March that time, and that's when we actually started first hanging out together at her mom's house. So that's how it all started. That was in March. I think fast forward about maybe 3 weeks, we ended up having a talk and just wanted to get into a courtship relationship. Wanted to really start working towards marriage. I had been looking for a relationship like that for several years, been praying through it and talking with other guys that I trust about what they need to look like, including my pastor, one of my pastors at the time. We had that conversation about 3 weeks after we first started hanging out. It went well, and in the next few months we were engaged, and a couple months after that we were married. So between March and September, we went from first hanging out together to married.
For us, because we were really wanting to honor God sexually as well, and we just really believed that, it's going to be, like, it didn't take us a long time to figure out if we were going to be compatible for each other, if we were going to be able to connect with each other and see ourselves with each other for a long time.
Yeah.
I really don't think it takes that long to do that. But
we had actually, we had planned for in October. We actually moved it up about a month and a half because our pastor had told us that was his recommendation. Not for anything in particular that we were doing at the time, but it's just his recommendation that we should, move it up so we can do that, honor God in that way.
Because it was I'm going to tell y'all, it was hard. Yeah. Like, when we figured out, like, okay, this is who God wants us to marry, like, that attraction was there. I was like, right?
I was almost eaten.
Yeah, you were almost destroyed. But anyways, it had to, like, we had to get married, so that was a priority. Anyways, one of the first things that the Lord was challenging me about was about not being the aggressor. For some people, they like to say, you need to be found. Like in the Bible, there's a verse that says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. He found a blessing from the Lord. And so being found is not necessarily meaning you don't do anything at all. Like you come completely passive in this whole like situation when you guys are trying to figure out if you like each other. But it means that you're not doing all the heavy lifting when it comes to starting the relationship. Especially if you're like me, you new to church, you're going to meet a lot of nice guys. And they're probably going to be nice to you. And in a regular situation, you think, oh, he's nice to me. He likes me. But no, he's just nice. Because he's a nice guy and that love the Lord and go to church. And sometimes that happens. Number one, you can't sit back and observe the situation or whatever. You kind of put yourself in an awkward position to be rejected when you misunderstand somebody's feelings. And then 2, you put yourself in that situation where where you're not really trying to find out who this person really is before you jump to assuming that you want to commit to them. And so you need to get to know that person and understand who they are before y'all even really express interest to each other. Because there's like a level of Would you say like sometimes there's a lot of inauthenticity when you start?
Well,
dating?
there can be. It's critical that men take the lead. It's that's the man's role in a marriage, the man's role in fatherhood, just starting a family, and it starts at the beginning. It starts with the courtship. It has to. Men have to take the lead. Um, and I'm not like Nia said. It's not that you just sit there and be passive about it. Not
But don't do all the
necessarily.
heavy lifting.
Yeah, not necessarily. Don't necessarily be passive about it, but I guess if you're really trying to push things along, then you're not really letting the relationship unfold the way that it's supposed to. Because it really is the man's job, the man, and I'm talking as like I'm not, I wouldn't say that I'm not the most aggressive male myself. I'm not like super assertive, but when it came to our relationship, it ended up unfolding that way to where I was the one that was, the one that initiated moving things forward. Now Neil was very friendly the whole time, and it was.
You gotta give green lights. We're gonna talk about that in a
Yeah,
second.
she was very friendly, and it was very, she was very open to just me initiating that relationship. But it wasn't. She wasn't the one that's like, "Hey, we should," that was on me. So
Yeah,
and that's how it's supposed to be.
I saw what I wanted and I went for it. But there is an uncertainty and an insecurity that comes when you are the one pushing all the time, that you need to have security in your marriage. Like when you get married, you need to know you are married because your husband loves you and values you, and he was moved to action because he liked you and loved you that much. But if you're pushing and you're making all the decisions and you're not even giving him that chance to step in and be the man, then you won't have that gift of security or that gift of understanding that I'm married because my husband values me and desired me. You need to have that security in your marriage, and so you have to give the man that room to step up. And then too, it comes into play when you get married down the line, because if you're the one who's always aggressing, then when it comes to when a time when you need your man to step up and do something for you, he's not even gonna know how to do it, because you always stepping into that place where he should be taking the initiative for himself. And so, yeah, go ahead.
I just have to flip that around. If he's not willing to do that, then it's gonna come up over again and over again and over again. It's gonna be a recurring issue of not really stepping up, not really being assertive, not stepping in the lead when he's supposed to.
Yeah. If y'all can't do that now, when you get married, you have to deal with issues that come up with family members, in-laws, and stuff like that. You're going to be really upset. So that's why this is so important. Let him take some lead in this. And don't do all the heavy lifting, because you're going to need a man. A man, you hear me? That doesn't mean, so the next thing is, it doesn't mean you can't show interest, because guys need you to show interest so they can have that little bit of courage to work with, to say, oh, I think I'm going to ask her if she wants to go somewhere or do this. Most men, right? It was like a video game. Now, this is what I did, y'all. Like I said, I stepped back first and watched and found out who Gerald was before I gave him any green light. Don't just give out green lights. They need to be earned. Don't give out green lights come on, man. They need to be earned. I sat back and watched how he treated all the girls in church. Was he flirty with some of the girls in the church? Was he nice to the old lady in the back of the church? Was he nice to his mama? I would say just keep it to yourself.
I don't know what she's talking about.
It's a woman thing.
Okay, there you go.
It's like when you tell a girl, oh, I think he cute.
Just
You think he cute? She think he cute too. And then they go, and little thing, and everybody start talking. Yeah. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't participate in that. Keep it to yourself until it's a thing, okay? After I figured out that he was worthy of a green light, that he was a good guy, that he was, kind and intelligent and love the Lord and, was doing something for himself, then I was like, okay, he seems like a cool guy, respectful. I think I'm going to give him a green light. Now I might try to talk to him a little bit more intentionally, I remember one Sunday, I had said, oh, hi, how you doing? Still getting to know everybody, getting to know you. So what do you like? And you told me, like, Maple Story. And I was like, hey, I like Maple Story too. I play the game. Maybe we should play. Maybe we should play sometime. And then Joe was like, yeah. And then see, it was not even like I have to be next to him to play. I can play in my room in this house, and he can play in his room in that house, and we can talk while we do it and just see how it go from there, and it just kind of, from Maple Story online to phone conversations, from phone conversations to in-person dates in my mama house while my mama was there, which was probably for the best.
This is just for a little insight, because it's important for you to know how, I guess I was thinking, if not other men also think when they're looking to get into a fruitful relationship, just kind of seeing how she responds and reacts to some of the conversation. It's just general flow of conversation, and I think we got into like video games, and then video games got into like what can we do, and then what can we do ended up being we could try Maple Story. We probably played Maple Story together once for maybe 15.
I think two times.
15 to 20 minutes.
Anyway.
What was really important in that time, though, was us getting to kind of feel each other out, see what each other like, trying to find some common ground, which is like, just trying to, find things that we like together that we can kind of talk about. And in the meantime, just talk about other things, you know what I mean? Like, you might be playing a video game, but you're talking about, like, life,
Let me add this, too. I did not hang out with the opposite sex alone. Like, if I was hanging out with somebody of the opposite sex, I left the door open, somebody else was there, all these things, because I did not want to fall back into my old ways. And then also open myself back up for that pain that I went through after that first relationship dissolved, and I did not want to experience it again. And I love the Lord. I honestly wanted to honor God, in my sexuality. And when you give exclusivity, it's like, oh, she ain't playing around. She's serious. Like, wow, she is like, legit. So I think it goes both ways, of course.
I mean, yeah.
But that's another thing that'll help you really being in alignment to find that spouse that God is trying to give you.
You shouldn't be trying to just go out there and like find somebody.
Yeah.
And if this guy don't work out, then that guy. If this girl don't work out, then that girl, she might.
And I did that. I'm gonna be the first to say I've done that.
I've done that
and
too.
It's not healthy, and it's not a good look.
No.
And because people see it. You thinking, ain't nobody paying attention to me. No, they see it.
Yeah. God sees that, and he doesn't like that.
Yeah, God sees it. And then they gonna be like, there she go. Or there he go. Alright guys, we talked your ears off long enough. But those were just some of the points I wanted to share with you guys. And if you want a more organized version of this same content, check out the description where I posted the blog post version of this below. But yeah, thanks for joining us. And we can't wait to see you again on the channel where we'll be talking more about, our love life and, in terms of how do we do that as Christians and other issues that deal with just surrendering our soul and sexuality to God, and just practical videos, Bible study videos. So continue to join us, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.